Hello queens and kings, my name is Thandeka Shabangu. Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Welcome to this tutorial where we are going to do our beaded vest. Now this tutorial is going to be in two parts. So the first part, we're going to be focusing on the vertical belt that is going down. And then the second part, we are going to be focusing on our connecting lines from side to side. So what materials are we going to be using? We're going to be using your needle, your upholstery thread, and your 6mm plastic beads. So these are the three materials that we are going to be using. And let's get my belt ready. Now you're going to make sure that you want to make any pattern of your of the belts that you want. You can either make a diamond pattern, you can either make triangles, any pattern that you like. I decided on making the arrows, and we do have a tutorial of the arrows on the channel. I'm just going to include it in the description box. So make sure that the length of your belt is the appropriate length that fits the chest area. So the measurements that you're going to take are the measurements of your chest, but above the bust area, because that is where your belt will be sitting. So this is my belt. It is 107 centimeters. So I'm going to look for the center. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the two ends of the belt, just put them next to each other, and then I move until I get to the end. So this end, this is where the center is, at the pink area. So, oopsie, sorry for the noise. So at this pink area, that is where we're going to start creating the belt that is moving downwards. Now, for this belt, the foundation, I picked up 8 beads for the foundation. So meaning I picked up 2 groups of 4. So even here, when we move down, we are going to make sure that we have 2 groups of 4. Not of 4, because we're not going to make 4 beads, but we will need to have 2 groups. Yes. Okay, so my aim now is to make sure that my thread will land at this point between the yellow and the black. Let me twist it like this. Yeah, let me use the blue part. I'm just going to make sure that it lands between the black and the pink. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my needle and my thread, and then at the end, I'm using a double thread because I'm using bigger beads. So I need it to be more tight, you know. So by double thread, I mean that the 2 tails of your thread, I join them together so that I'll have this double thread. So I tied my knots. I made 2 knots, one on top of another. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to insert my needle here at this point. So whatever I'm going to do, I have to make sure that I have to land between the black and the pink. So I'm just going to move my needle just through the beads. Here. I'm not going to start pulling the thread now, the knot now, because I have to make sure that the knot lands inside the bead so that it's much neater. But for now, I'm not going to pull it because it's going to quickly, what is this word? Come out. So I'm just going to hold the tip, and then I'm going to use the longest tail to pull and make sure the knot is inside. but I'm using the tip to manage the knot so that it doesn't quick all go in. Yes, there we go. And be careful that you don't pull too much. So here at this point, I am going to tie a knot just here in between. And then you hold the tip of the tail here, just so that it doesn't punyuga, it doesn't slide down. Because if it slides down, the entire thread is going to slide down. So you tie your knot here in between, and then you move one space, one bead, and then in between the space you're going to tie another knot. Just to make sure that it's nice and secure. There we go. And then you insert your needle into the black bead, so it comes out. So as you can see here with your belt, there are these two beads, a space, two beads, a space, two beads, a space. Those are the places that are going to, we're going to use them mostly, né? So what I'm going to do now is pick up 3 pink beads. So as you can see that we have as open space, and then the 2 beads that are together, an open space, and then 2 beads that are together. So what you want to make sure is that your thread lands in between the 2 beads. So currently it's between the black and the pink bead, but if you take a closer look, there is a gap. So I want my thread to land in between the 2 beads before I pick up my 3 beads. Okay, so it's in between the 2 beads that are together. So now I'm going to pick up 3 pink beads. This is because I just want to start with the pink, and just with my, I want the belt that goes down to be pink too. To start with pink, it's going to be multicolored as the belt, but I wanted to have a pink start. So you are going to, so when you look at where your thread came from, you, next to it is going to be 1 bead and then the second bead, né? So you're going to insert your bead after skipping 2 beads. So this is the first bead and this is the second bead. Then you insert your needle into the 3rd bead. So as you can see, I have 3 beads that I picked up. So I'm going to pick up 3 pink beads again. So I've picked up my 3 pink beads. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to count 2 beads and then insert my needle after 2 beads. So this is the first bead and this is the second bead. So I'm going to insert my thread or my needle just on the yellow bead, on the 1 yellow bead, into the 1 yellow bead, and then I pull. Okay, this one is going to be a little bit wonky. So there I have my 3 purples. So because in the beginning I did mention that for my foundation I picked up 2 groups of 4 beads. So that means even here I'm going to have two groups, but in this case it's going to be 2 groups of 3 beads. But if you want, because you know patterns differ and your creativity might be different, it might happen that the main long belt might be thicker, and the belt going down you might want it to be thinner. It does not always have to be the same size, the same thickness as the long bead and the bead that is going down. You can just do your creativity, because even me, if I do want, I can also make it thicker and add another 3 beads. But because I want the thickness of the bead of the belt that is going down and the thickness of the belt across to be the same. Okay, so now I am going to turn. How do I turn? I pick up 4 pink beads. 4 pink beads. So now I'm done with my foundation. Now I'm building on the belt, on the foundation that I had made. So with my 4 beads, I am going to insert my needle into the central bead. So from the 3 beads that I recently picked up, I am going to insert my needle into the central bead. And then I pull. Now ensure that it's nice and secure. You pull here and you pull here again. You pull the tail again. And then now I'm going to pick up 3 pink beads. 3 pink beads. I'm going to insert my needle into the central bead. So from the first 3 beads that I had picked up, I'm going to insert my needle into the central bead. Like this. And pull. Make sure it is nice and secure and pull. Now I'm turning. I pick up 4 beads. 4 beads. I take my needle. So the recent 3 beads that I picked up, I'm going to insert my needle into the central bead. And then I pull. Oh, it's raining. And I have laundry outside. Okay, I'm back. Laundry problem is solved. Why is it that on the days where you do laundry, it decides to rain? And on the days where you don't have laundry, it's just normal. Nothing happens. It's the sunniest day ever. So you pick up 3 beads. You take your needle and insert it into the central bead. So now you're going to continue with your belt as you would do with your normal belt, whereby when you turn, you pick up 4 beads, and then when you're at the center, you pick up 3 beads. So as in here, I am turning, so I'm going to pick up 4 beads, and then I insert my needle here. Just make sure you pull nicely and secure. Then I pick up 3 beads. 3 beads. Set my needle here. Then I pick up 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Set my needle into the central bead. Then I pick up my 3 beads. See, just make sure that it's on camera when I do it. 3 beads. So now I want to change my color and make sure it's a new color. So what I'm going to do is pick up 1 black, 2 color, and 1 black. So 1 black. I want the belt to be the same. So here, after pink, I added blue. So now The two color that I'm going to introduce is going to be my blue. So I pick up one black, two blue, and one black bead. I take my needle and I insert it into the central bead. Then I go back to my 3 pink beads. Then I introduce a color again based on the arrow pattern. So for the arrow pattern, if you introduce the color on one side, when you turn on the other side, on the other opposite side, you're going to introduce a color. So again, you pick up one black, 2 blue, and 1 black bead. So you get that arrow pattern. Then you pick up 1 black bead and 2 blue beads. So what I'm doing now is just continuing with the pattern that I had on the belt that was across. That is across. I pick up my 4 blue beads. Set my needle into the central bead. Just make sure I pull and secure. Pick up the 3 beads, insert it into the central bead. So now I'm just going to put it like this because it's much better. Yeah. Then I pick up my 4 beads. So I'm just going to continue with my pattern and then going down with your measurements. It will all depend on the measurements of your bust area. That will be just above your bust and then just at the bottom of your stomach. For my measurements, I'm going to make it 29 centimeters. Or if you want it longer, you can add a few centimeters. If you want it shorter, you can minus a few centimeters from there. But for me, you can take that as a reference. For me, I use 29 centimeters moving down. And that is specifically to my body measurements and how I prefer the length to be. So what I'm going to do is just continue with the belt and make sure it's the appropriate length. So this is where we're going to stop with the video. And then on the next part of the video, we are going to start doing the lines that are crossing. So this is where we're going to stop, and my homework is for me to continue with the belt to make sure that it is the right length. And then for the next project, the next part of the video, we are now going to start creating the lines that are crossing from one point to another and one point to another, like this and like that. Thank you so much for watching, Queens and Kings. I love you guys so much. Remember to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, and have fun. If you love the content that you're seeing, please consider subscribing. See you on the next video. Bye.